Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Episode 9?
Episode 9, grimgeography.
Hi everyone, I know I said episode 9, but it is actually episode 12. We had messed with the order of episodes, and I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. Who are
So,
we covering
I'm
today?
taking us to Oregon, 1961.
Oh, God. We're doing these old
So,
ones.
well,
No, we got to tell everybody about that What's his name?
why? Because that's Rainy City.
Oh, is it Rainy
We
City?
can tell the next one.
Okay.
I want you guys all to consider something as I'm going through this case. Because it did not go the way I thought it was going to.
Okay.
So, we are talking about Leroy McGahuey.
Okay.
And I want you to consider, what would you do if you were the prosecutor of this case?
Okay.
Because it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
Okay.
We're going back actually to kind of more like 1958 through 1961. There's kind of a block. So on January 23rd, 1960, while working as a logger in Mineral, Washington. So this is also, I debated this one too because it takes place both in Washington and Oregon, but it ends in Oregon.
Okay.
So I kind of gave it to this one versus Rainy City, because Rainy City, I kind of was like, if it ends in Washington, that's fine. I can kind of do it that way.
Okay.
He worked as a logger in Mineral. He was arrested for sexually abusing an underage girl and held on $5,000 bail at the Lewis County Jail, which $5,000 for 1960.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. So on March 14th, he was convicted of the charge and sentenced to a year, with half the sentence being a suspended one with the requirements that he regularly reports to a probation officer.
Okay.
Of course, he didn't do any of that.
Of course he didn't.
Instead, he fled to Medford, Oregon, where he continued to work in the logging business.
Now, Medford is on the California, Oregon border.
You know what? He was smart to go that far, though. If we really think about
back
it.
then.
That was pretty smart to go that far.
Yeah. He didn't come north into Seattle.
No, because he wanted to stay out of Washington.
Yeah.
We want to bet they had like a bolo out for him, like their version of a bolo.
Yes. But be on the lookout is what a bolo is.
So while first hiding there, he began a romantic relationship with 32-year-old Loris May Holt, who lived separately from her estranged husband, together with her 2-year-old son Rod Cameron, at an apartment in Central Point.
Okay.
McGahuey eventually moved in to live with them, but his relationship with Holt eventually started to degrade due to his violent outburst. So on February 13th, 1961, during a heated argument, McGahuey proceeded to hit her on the head with a hammer before proceeding to strangle, stab her twice in the chest with a knife, and then ultimately shoots her in the head with a pistol.
Wow. Talk about overkill.
This is where details become a tiny bit murky.
Did he kill the kid?
So he went to Rod's room and hit him in the head with the hammer. That one hit killed him instantly. McGahuey claims he killed Rod due to concern for his upbringing because he no longer had a mother.
Okay. What about his father?
He was estranged. We don't know anything really about him.
Okay.
You have one death that occurred in a fit of passion, and the other is premeditated. Do you go for both murders or just the premeditated one? Do you go for the girlfriend or the 2-year-old?
I say you do both and give him the electric chair.
If you were the prosecutor, you would go for both and go for the death penalty?
Yes. Gravy sucking man.
So after the murders, he wrapped the bodies in blankets and hid them in a closet before leaving. He later returned to the apartment, but after he found that it was locked from the inside, he broke in through the window to check if there was anything that could implicate him.
How did the apartment get locked from the inside?
I'll tell you about that in a minute. So McGahuey then barricaded the door with furniture and left through a window after cutting the screen. In an attempt to create an alibi for himself, he got on a freight train and went to California, returning to Medford a week later. He was sitting in a restaurant when he was spotted by Holt's estranged husband, Charles, who had recently been released from custody after being questioned as a suspect in the double murders. So not
So
only
they thought the husband did it.
because the husband went over because I think they had a custody arrangement to get their son. So notice how he didn't when he broke in, he didn't find the bodies. Bodies were already gone.
The husband took the bodies?
The husband came over, found them dead in the closet, called the police.
Oh. That's why the door was locked.
Uh-huh. And back then, they don't keep crime scenes as crime scenes for very long.
Oh.
So not long after he was arrested for passing bad checks on and held on a $15,000 bail, he waived his right to an attorney and a preliminary hearing so he could get a fast trial. But in the meantime, he was reinvestigated as a prime suspect in the Holt murders. So basically, he essentially went on living his life, and then he passed some bad checks, and during that, they were reinvestigating him. So he was dismissed in the first round due to his alibi, and he successfully passed a polygraph test.
Well, they talk about that a polygraph isn't admissible in court.
But back in 1960, it was used for probable. We use it still as probable cause.
Yes.
And a way to rule people out. So while awaiting trial for the check charge, he broke down and admitted to the jailer that he killed the Holts. So while he was in jail,
he told the guard?
Told the guard.
Oh my God, what a moron.
So, of course, the jailer immediately informed the investigators. So when interviewed, he reiterated that he was guilty and had his confession transcribed and signed, but he refused to tell the exact reason for killing Loris. When he fled from Washington, so this is where he becomes very interesting. When he fled from Washington, the sexual abuse may not have been the only crime he committed. Leroy McGahuey was not only a murderer, but he was a suspected serial killer.
He killed more people?
Suspected. It's never proven. So then we go to 1957. So we're going back.
We've gone from 1961 back to 1957. Okay.
That's why I said that it's kind of a block of time.
Okay.
So on July 6, 1957, 31-year-old Eleanor Bollinger, a Sunday school teacher residing in Mineral, Washington, went berry picking near her father's farmhouse but failed to return.
Okay.
On July 21st, her body was found in some woodland, showing signs that she had been repeatedly stabbed and beaten. Investigators determined that she had likely been murdered in another location and then transported here, but with no useful information or viable suspects, the case quickly went cold.
Okay.
Before you ask, they never solved her murder.
Okay.
He is suspected of it, but we'll explain why
Okay.
it was never. So, due to the similarities between
there was no DNA. They don't have DNA back then. They have no fingerprints. They have no hair. They have nothing. It was 1950s. Come on, people.
So, due to the similarities between these murders and the Bollinger killing, as well as the fact that he worked in the area at the time, detectives from Washington State were dispatched to Oregon to interview McGahuey about the case. So, in addition, they considered extraditing him to face charges of parole violation, but in the end decided against it.
Okay.
Because as they looked at it, a parole violation is nothing compared to a double murder charge.
Yes.
So McGahuey waived his right to a preliminary hearing and asked for a court-appointed attorney for his murder trial, following his indictment for first-degree murder by a grand jury. While awaiting the grand jury hearing, which was delayed because a member was unable to attend, the gun in Loris's murder was found it wasn't a pawn shop, it was a loan shop in Redding, California. So he took the murder weapon to California and got rid of it there, which is actually pretty smart. But why didn't you chuck it in the water?
Come on, people. There are rivers, there are ponds, there are lakes. Chuck there.
Like I asked, if you're the prosecutor, what would you do? So you have a first degree. He's going down for first degree murder. Which death do you go for? Both or just one or the other?
I say go for both of them.
Okay. That's what you're.
Yes. Death penalty.
I mean, that's reasonable. Because especially back then, the first degree murder was a surefire way to get the death penalty in Oregon. In the end, it was decided that McGahuey would be tried solely for the murder of Rod Holt, as prosecution could safely secure a death sentence.
Okay.
In that case, if he was convicted, because as they looked at it, they didn't have a reason for Loris. That kind of was a heat of the moment crime of passion. He deliberately went and killed Rod.
Yeah.
So he was the only one they could 100% get a death sentence for.
Okay, so he killed 3 people.
Suspected 3. He confirmed 2.
Okay, so that doesn't make him a serial killer, does it? It's 3 or more.
Yeah, but that's why he's a suspected serial killer.
He killed them.
So they went to trial, and he was found guilty by a jury verdict after 4 hours of deliberation.
Yeah.
The fact that it took 4 hours to deliberate over him killing a 2-year-old kind of concerned me. However, so under contemporary law, he received an automatic death sentence since the jury did not recommend leniency. On July 31st, he was sentenced to die in Oregon's gas chamber.
Back in the good old days.
And the police at the trial described Rod's death as one of the most brutal in recent Oregon history. That tells you anything about how that child died. So while going through his appeals with the state, he was still being investigated in Washington as the main suspect in the Bollinger case. His plea was rejected by the Oregon Supreme Court, and he was scheduled to receive an execution date in July 1962.
Okay.
At said hearing, his execution date was set for August 20th. His only possibility of escaping this was coming from Governor Mark Hatfield, and Hatfield refused to issue a stay of execution or commute his sentence, upholding the convictions of the lower courts. And we will come back to Hatfield because he did an interview roughly 40 years after this case where he discussed his whole thought process on this case.
Okay.
On August 20, 1962, McGahuey was executed in the state's gas chamber at the Oregon State Penitentiary in Salem. He appeared calm on the day of his death, and his last reported words were, "That's it," addressed to a deputy warden. At the time, it was the first execution conducted in the state in 9 years. Following Furman v. Georgia, McGahuey would become the last inmate to be executed in Oregon's gas chamber, and the last inmate executed in the state until 1996.
That's a long time. Mm-hmm. That's like 30 years. Mm-hmm. 40 years.
Well, think about it. I was born in 1996. This happened in 62.
I was born in 66. So, that's like 30 years. That's almost 40 years. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So as of March 2025, Bollinger's murder remains unsolved, but McGahuey is presumably still considered the prime suspect in that case.
Okay.
I did a little digging into Oregon's death penalty. So they have a very similar moratorium on it as Washington does, which makes sense because I think Oregon and Washington kind of like co-partners in like everything.
They are.
And I think they signed that moratorium together, if I remember correctly, or like within a couple of days of each other. So McGahuey was the last unconsenting person executed. Unconsenting.
You mean other people consented to being murdered?
Execution was used 2 other times in 1996 on 2 individuals who waived their rights to appeal and challenging their sentences. They opted to get it over with, and they were executed.
Okay, and he did not. He didn't want to be executed. He killed a 2-year-old kid, murdered the mother, and killed another person, but he didn't want to die.
Mm-hmm. And the other 2 were just like, let's just get this over with.
Yeah. I'd be like, who wants to spend all that time in prison? Just murder me. Well, it wouldn't be murder me. It's like you're paying me back for the crap I did.
So aggravated murder is the only crime punishable by death in Oregon. And on August 1st, 2019, Governor Kate Brown signed a bill that restricts the death penalty to 4 cases. 1 is acts of terrorism in which 2 or more people are killed by an organized terrorist group. Number 2 is premeditated murders of children aged 13 or younger. 3, prison murders committed by those already incarcerated for aggravated murder. So essentially, you can kill them if you're not already there for aggravated murder. And 4, premeditated murders of police or correctional officers.
Yeah.
So that is what you can get the death penalty for in the state of Oregon, which you can't even get that here in Washington.
Nope.
You get an automatic life sentence here.
Yep.
So
we're a bunch of wussies.
So now we are to the former governor's interview. So it was an interesting read on how, like, his decisions and hearing, and he discussed how this. So this is 40 years after the fact. He died in 2011. He was very old.
Who are the governor of Oregon?
Yeah, Mark Hatfield. He was pretty old when he died. But he talks about this case, and this case still, and this decision he made still haunted him to his dying day.
Okay. So
Hatfield permitted the execution to go ahead despite misgivings about capital punishment. It was the only time he would ever shoulder that specific burden. He had moved on to the U.S. Senate by 1978 when Oregon reinstated capital punishment. In this interview, he said that being party to McGahuey's death still troubled him, so he was asked, as governor of Oregon, how did you resolve your legal charge versus your moral feelings about the death penalty? He said, having been governor when we had an execution, I can tell you it still haunts me. However, when you swear to uphold the Constitution of the state of Oregon, you swear to uphold all of the laws, not just the laws you agree with. I felt there were too many examples in our history. I felt there were too many examples in our history when people tortured the law or played around with it.
Okay.
So then he was asked, so if you were governor today, would you have commuted the death sentence? And he said, I don't know. I would have to wrestle with that. We experienced the repeal of the death penalty when I was governor. After the first execution, I had my press secretary have as many press people there to witness it as possible, reporting it in all its gory detail by making it a broadly based experience for all people. By not having it at midnight, we were able to garner enough support to get it repealed. Even though there were executions scheduled to happen during the hiatus time between when the law was passed and the time it took effect, I immediately commuted all the sentences. I believe it was 7. He commuted 7 other sentences to life.
They've sat on the jury. They said, no, it's time for him to go. They've had their appeals, which can commute their sentence. If not, put him to death. I am so pro. I know people out there are not going to like it.
It is.
As long as if they can prove you've committed the crime, and you have your appeals,
and you confess to
it, and everything like that, you should die. I am not talking about the guy that has been convicted and is innocent, and he dies before, they make it right, or the Innocent Project has a fax, and, I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about the people that we have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a very controversial case.
That's why I bring it up.
It is.
Because the thing is, like, he killed Dolores in a heat of passion. However, he didn't have to go to the extent that he did.
No.
So I never understood why they didn't try him for her too.
I don't either.
Because he hit her in the head with a hammer. And then he strangled her, and then stabbed her and then shot her. He didn't have to go to that.
Nope.
Because I think once you go past the first incident, then that becomes just...
It does. It totally does.
Defiling like a corpse.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yes.
So this is why I bring it up, though.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I definitely want to hear what you guys think about this case. And I want to hear what you think about death penalty. I know I just opened a can of worms by saying that.
And I'm going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, but because she deals with all the emails and all the people. So I just, of course, if you want to talk to me, tell her you want to deal with me directly and I will deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if
She's not believing that, but
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yes, if you want to hear what I have to say, I definitely will deal with it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
she's still not believing me.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
But this is why I bring this case up. It's a very interesting. But I want people to consider that question. If you were in the prosecutor's shoes, what would you do?
I would have prosecuted him for every crime I could.
And the thing is I understand they wanted a death sentence, and the going for the 2-year was the only way to get that death sentence. I think they still could have got it though if they went after him for her murder.
I think so. Because
I think once they got past the first instance is a heat of passion.
Yes.
I would have considered the fact that he strangled, stabbed, and shot her.
Yes.
So I'm just curious about what everyone thinks.
So am I.
But that is the case I have for everybody. It's kind of a short one, and I'm sorry about that.
Yes, it is a short one, but that's okay. We'll be back next week with something else.
Oh, I have a very long one.
Oh, God. She's sucking the life from me right now. I've been up before 6 o'clock. Take my husband to the doctor all the way about 50 minutes away. I'm exhausted. I need a nap, and I need to hear what you guys think about the death penalty.
Too bad. You have one more filming to do at least today.
Yes, I know I do. So
maybe a third I have a very short one for Grim too.
That
we do a third.
Okay.
But let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Bye-bye.